Hello and welcome back to TC Toolbox. My name's Glenn Keller, and in this demonstration, what we're doing is we've actually meshed together a bunch of different what's new updates for installation and architecture in Teamcenter 2512. So we start by going into the indexing settings, kick off failed objects from the failed index, then proceed to go into things like Deployment Center and the updates to the web tier and visualization, as well as getting into other updates pertaining to architecture and installation. The page that you see on the screen, which is the global search indexing status that's available in the indexing and search administration dashboard. Though we can't replicate the failed objects in this system, we wanted to note that if you did get failed objects in 2512, you can select the failed objects and actually resubmit them for reindexing from this interface. So we're hoping to get a failed object, trying to provoke one, but that's one of the updates we wanted to talk about. Other updates include the ability to remove components using Deployment Center installation. So if we come into Deployment Center, I'll go ahead and log in real quick. Basically, when I come into environments, in previous versions, we've had the ability to uninstall a couple of components using Deployment Center, but it wasn't really the meat of what we needed to uninstall with. So if I come into components now in 2512 and full screen this, we'll take a look at what I have installed, and then if you say remove selected components, notice it's going to try and delete anything that you have selected. I'm going to hit cancel because I haven't actually added anything yet, and you'll see the selected components are all right here. So if I scroll up or down throughout that, notice nothing is enabled for checking at the moment. What I need to do is come up to the top here and say uninstall components from this minimize button at the top. And what it's going to do is it's kind of like the add button where it pulls up a list of the components on the right. In this case, it'll tell you what all you can uninstall. So this list is larger than what it was in the previous version. So you can uninstall all of these elements from this system. And you can see I've got check marks for rich client 2-tier, server manager, client communication system, the web tier is here. All of these are listed as things that I could remove. Now, there are a lot of things that I can't remove and that I will still have to fall back onto the TIM for, which is locally installed. Another update, since we're sitting here in the Deployment Center environment, architecturally speaking, would be the update to the web tier. And so when we're talking about a Teamcenter architecture, the Active Workspace environment is a 4-tier environment. And if I come in and I take a look at our architecture as a very high level, we have our resource tier sitting over here, and this is going to be our database, volumes, TC routes, installation directories, etc. And then we have our clients sitting way out here. So these are going to be the individual clients that are looking to log in via a 4-tier connection. So this would be Active Workspace, NX integration, 4-tier rich clients. Basically, those clients will interact with a web tier. And that web tier traditionally in Teamcenter has been something to the effect of a J2EE web application server or .NET based web application server like IIS. J2EE examples were JBoss, Wildfly, Tomcat, WebLogic, WebSphere, etc. So this component would then direct traffic out to the enterprise tier, which is the server manager, which would then have the TC server process on it. So this web tier as a part of the whole has been completely revamped in this version. So this is now a service that's deployed by the TEM or DC. It's no longer a third-party requirement. It does deploy pretty effectively, and it reduces a whole bunch of extra setup that we have to configure in the installation. So I will say that in my installation, this came in correctly right off the get-go, right after the installation. If I go into the services, this shows as a Teamcenter web tier service. So you can see that's here. It did get installed with my local system. It didn't get installed with a privileged user, so that's good. And in the installation, when you're looking at the install directories, if I go to apps, Siemens, Teamcenter 2512, TC root, you've got a whole bunch of different directories. One of them is the web tier. And in here, if you go into the bin, you've got the install web tier bat files, the web start and stop. So if you needed to troubleshoot it, you could come in and you'll see here. If I come in and I stop the service, now Active Workspace won't work anymore. See, it's broken. And then if I come in, I can start it using the web start and web stop commands. So I'll go ahead and select it, run as administrator. And then in here, I'll get a nice output for the web tier starting up, and it'll tell me it is ready at the end. So you can see that down at the bottom here. So this is a nice function in the system. You can see that in Deployment Center, this has its own line item in here. So it's the very bottom one. And when I'm going to define this, as we talk about in the installation course, let me cancel out of my removal in here. Just refresh the screen real quick. All right, let's go to components and go to web tier. Okay, so in the web tier, it basically wants to know where you're deploying this. Is it behind a gateway of some sort, like a SSO gateway or proxy load balancer? But this is going to be the machine name of the machine that you're deploying the web tier to. So this would be the equivalent machine as if you were deploying JBoss, WebLogic, WebSphere, Tomcat, etc. So whatever server that'll be. In this case, it's this server. On the operating system, what OS it is. Where is it going to be installed? In this case, it was this TC root, but if you were in a distributed environment, this would be the TC root or installation directory of where you want it to be installed on that server. And then in the 4-tier communication settings, because this really defines that 4th tier, you can define HTTP or HTTPS. If you switch to HTTPS, you'll get options for your certs. It asks me for the machine name, but it does populate it for me. The port that I'm running on, so 7001 is the default that it gives you, which is, I believe, the default Tomcat port, but I'm used to switching it to 8080 for a reason, but now Deployment Center uses 8080 and I don't have a Wildfire JBoss installation, so I can keep it at 7001. The web tier root path, my 4-tier URL is generated. I get to define what the service is, what the name of it is in the system, so I could rename that if I wanted to group it with others. And then I've got my JMX and session settings. You can override other settings coming in from other features in the list or components. So the web tier being overhauled as just a service being deployed takes away a lot of work that administrators and infrastructure administrators had to do to set up an instance. There's also a lot of overhaul with getting the supported versions of those and staying to tune if you're worried about vulnerabilities and cybersecurity issues. In addition to this, Siemens has also overhauled the visualization system. So we knew this was coming based on announcements last year, Visualization inside of the system was always deployed as an assigner and a Viz server manager. So another update to this, if I go ahead and clear this out, I'm going to close this web tier real quick. I'm going to Control C it. And then I'll start the service back up just so it's running properly. And then if we look at our services, going back to Viz, there are no Teamcenter visualization services that are listed in this display. And the reason for that is visualization has actually now been consumed into microservices. In this version, Teamcenter 2512, if I go to microservices, select the microservice node, and then when you do and scroll down, you'll see that there is an insert in here to select visualization as one of the microservice options. So I've got visualization extension is here, Viz service is one, and this can naturally be expanded to run on multiple nodes. You could have multiple Viz service extensions here installed, but this is the only component that needs to be installed for Viz. Now you do have file repository service user settings in here that you can toggle on, so there are some additional settings. But overall, this was a fairly simple install and it worked right out the get-go. Now, visualization is installed in the microservices now. So if you go into TEC root, you'll notice that I do not have a visualization folder at the moment. So I don't have any visualization servers or folders. And if I log in as user 01, I'll kind of demonstrate the visualization is working on this server. We'll go into one of my components that I have in the system. So I'll just kind of scroll through here. We'll grab this bigger assembly, open that up to the content work mode, and then in there I should be able to render out the graphics for this assembly. So in here I'll switch this down to the 3D work area, and then it should load up fairly quickly. All right, so it is visualizing my JT data in the system, and it's all based on that one little installed component selected during the microservices install. Now, along with the updates to the web tier and the visualization in the architecture, other things like security services, single sign-on support, where we used to generate a TC identity and a TC login WAR file using the InSweb or WAM application that was provided by Siemens for Teamcenter. Now we're building just a web tier service in the deployment center environment. Those WAR files that had to be built with the WAM now get built with Deployment Center. They are additional add-ins that you can add into the system. When you add those security services elements to the system, then it will create services that correspond to each of the elements instead of having to deploy individual WAR files. So if I come in here, you can see there's an LDAP that can be deployed, but what I'm looking for is the actual security services right here. And when I select it and I say update selected components here, this will now define the two services that are going to get created for identity and login versus the WAR file development that you had to do in the past. So if I come down, notice it's already at 97% completed when I first added it. And you can see that it's just asking where are these getting deployed at. Typically I would deploy these on the same server as my web tier, just like if I was deploying the WAR files right next to it on the same cluster. And then its installation directory. It's got enabled single sign-on. That's why I am installing it. And then I could come in, provide my password, provide my application IDs, which would typically be spelled out inside of the TC identity WAR file. And then you move through this and it's pretty much all the same selections that you had before, just minimalistic. So I can use Deployment Center to install TCSS if I want to. And if I do that, if I check that box, then I get properties passwords that I have to provide. If I don't do that, then I can run the installer after the fact. So typically I would do that. And then down below that, what is the security services machine name? What port is it going to run on? Login service and identity service URLs. So this is a fairly simple install, and at the end of it, it does take it and deploy it. So we'll do demos on that in the future. Other updates that they've made to the system include things like accessing Deployment Center through an external identity provider through single sign-on. Going in and performing individual installations of security services as well as TCCS or the local cache. Those have been enhanced to where the installation tool combines both of them rather than having to deal with multiple installation tools.